What are your favorite techniques for creating depth and dimension?
Well, there's a plugin I'm part of that because it's my plugin that is with Hardwell. It's called Space Control.
Mm-hmm.
And I love using Space Control for one reason, because you can create artificial side information even the sides are not there.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, you can create depth. And to me, to create, there's a few things. Reverb, of course, and then specifically if you do reverb, I like to shape the top ends and just do reverb on the mid-low information will give a sense of depth. With split EQ means like reverb, for example, on some of the drums, but then dual mono and just EQing differently left and right. You have a sense of like space that's a little different. That really helps. Sidechain to the drums, so the way it's moving with the drums. Space control is more like one tools on the entire drum bus, almost like to create like a tree effect of the space. So if you think like mid and side, to bring the mid, everything in phase, even more in the center. Sometimes the drums have a little bit of like side information on like 100 hertz. They're not really effective because now you're gonna fight with subwoofer on club shows or festival. So I tend to like to make that even more center, but then I like to do this tree effect where past the second octave is very open. So that way, any type of reverb on the toms and everything will just come up more, just because the comparison of having heavily mono information on the octave lower. Then the tree goes up, and then it closes up on the top. So when you have Twitter on speakers, they have hard time to process out of phase information well. So if you have a lot of like 12K with side information, it's going to be a struggle, because now you have your nice speakers. If you have midfield speakers, give a sense that it's okay, that it's bright and that it's wide. But then when you go on an iPhone, it's going to be a struggle. So, and then if you go on a club system, that I'm very exposed for the music that I'm involved, or festival system, it's going to be a confusion on the top. So I feel if you get little narrow on the top, you can actually get brighter without get fatiguing to too much out of phase, over like 10K or 12K.
Cool. And do you like using stereo imaging tools?
Yeah, so Space Control is a stereo imaging tool. So essentially, you can stereo imaging tools like Ozone, Imager, or Space Control or others. Essentially, is a way to multiband, take the side information and improve and make it louder versus the mid. Now, I would say a good way to use an imager tools like Space Control or imager from Isotope or others is to create harmonics on the side that are not there in the first place. So, and that you can do it simply as running some saturation on the side a little bit, and then with a little bit of delay or reverb, and then enhance that part. Will create some nice harmonics on the side. Has to be done based on the song. Obviously, you're not going to do that on a ballad that's like a jazz song. But then if you think on an electronic song, it's very effective. Also on a rock song or like an hybrid song that is kind of like cold on the side, that might be a good way to use imagers to do that.
And do you usually check your mixes in mono to see how it translates?
I do. And the part that I'm more concerned about mono compatibility is like the lower mid-range and the low end, to make sure that nothing is canceling. But if I do a good job through the mixing process, I don't see a problem to have this type of issues. But I see a lot of rough mixes that I receive, they have this kind of like nice open side, but then when you push the mono, you lose everything you had on the side. But then the part is actually problematic if the mid alone has some cancellation, where now you start to lose the kick and snare when I hit the snare on top of the kick. So that's the part very important. So make sure that if you do on the foundation of your drums or the bass, you want to make sure that in mono you have the representation of your song equally. It's equally important. So yeah.
To watch the full video, click the link below and don't forget to subscribe.